Hello, OMG, and welcome back to Legal Beauty's Glam Courtroom, where on my channel, we decide what is guilty of being worthy of your dollars. What is the verdict? We put some products on trial to decide if they are worthy of your dollars so that you know you don't have to break the budget, and we can determine here in my courtroom what is good makeup and what is not good makeup. So in today's video, I put together the best drugstore foundations that do not break the budget. So if you want to see which ones are literally under 15 bucks and you can get a amazing look, then go ahead and keep watching. But before you do, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can go ahead and follow me on my uploads of when I do, and make sure you hit the bell so you get notified anytime your girl Legal Beauty uploads a video. And it has been a minute. I have been a little MIA for a bit. I will make a video later on as to why, so you guys can kind of get an understanding of what I have been doing. But anyways, I am back, and we are back to regular filming programming, where I try to film as much as I can. I do work full time. I am that average worker who, you know, has a regular corporate job, but, you know, loves makeup and loves filming. And I just really miss the old days of YouTube, where you would log on and you could see, like, you know, makeup looks, makeup tutorials, what products to use. So hopefully on my channel, I'm able to give you guys a little bit of more of that old school YouTube vibe, where you guys can just simply watch for the love and the joy of makeup. But if you want to go ahead and see which foundations are super, super cheap, but super, super banging, then go ahead and keep watching. Okie dokie, so let's go ahead and get into these foundations. So the first one I'm going to be starting with is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation Stick. This one retails for only $5.99. I'll show you on my phone right here, the Wet n Wild website, if it can kind of focus. It looks like the shade range is pretty large, from light to rich. I found this at, I want to say, Ulta, and I got it on sale for only like $2. It was in like one of those clearance sections, which is pretty dope because I don't like spending a lot on foundation, which is the purpose of this video. I used to religiously get the Studio Fix foundation from MAC, but I know that's like pretty up there now. It's like 30 bucks, so it's just not worth it altogether. But what I'm going to first do is prime my face. I'm going to go ahead and use this No Pore Problem primer from my Boxy Luxe or Boxy Charm I had gotten months ago. It's by Touch in Soul. Like, I think it's London Touch in Soul. I really like it because I have really, really large pores and they kind of show up a lot, which is like super annoying. So this really helps blur it. So if you're somebody like me who has like really bad pores, this is a really good primer. Now, I do recommend priming your face. Some people think it's pointless. I see the big difference from when I don't and when I do. Sorry, my hair, I am fresh out the shower, so I'm so super fresh. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the stick foundation. This is what it looks like. So it turns up, and you get about, I've only used it like 3 times. You get about this much in product, which is a lot. It's very easy to put on. You just spin the wheel back down. This is the one that I want to say again, I got it for like $2. So I'm going to do the left side of my face with this foundation, the right side of my face with another one, and then my forehead with another one. So it might look like 3 different foundations, but that's fine. The point of this video is to show that there is like the best foundations out there for the best prices. So you don't have to pay 17 bucks and up for a foundation, you know, especially if you use it every day, if you're somebody like me. So I'm just going to start with some strokes. Now you could see it's very full coverage, so you might not need a lot. I like very, very full coverage, so I kind of like layer it. I'm gonna kind of do this right here, get this side, and then I used to use a sponge all the time to put on my foundation, but I started to notice like I'm breaking out a lot, and even though I clean my makeup sponges, like I still break out. So I'm using this Kabuki brush from Luxie Brush. It's very soft, very, very good for putting on foundation. And for this one right here, you can just kind of stipple it in. You don't really have to like do the whole circular motion because it goes on pretty easy. You can see it's completely covering up my ugly ass face that's underneath this. Now this one right here is it's called Soft Beige in Light Medium Warm. It doesn't say if it's for matte, if it's like a matte or dewy finish, but from using it, I would say it's an in-between finish. It's not completely matte and it's not completely dewy. It's kind of in the middle. The 2 other ones that I have here today, I have one that's pretty dewy and one that's pretty matte. So I'll show you the difference between the two. So this is me stippling it in. You can see the difference between this side where I have a lot of discoloration right here and this side. So I'm looking at my monitor. If you see me not looking directly into the camera, I'm looking right here. So if you want to see if it's buildable, which it is because I've tried it before, you just do a couple more strokes. Now, always clean this after because, you know, you might have pimples, you might have pores and bacteria on your face. I always clean the top layer of my foundation stick after I use it. I just swatch it on my arm, take a cleanser, and just clean the top just so like no icky stuff stays on there. Just because I have very sensitive skin, so I break out pretty easy from anything and everything. Excuse my sniffles. My allergies are a little nuts today, but whatevs. So you can see I'm just stippling and stippling it in. And voila, let me get up close so you guys can kind of see. Very, very pretty. A lot of coverage as compared to this side. It looks kind of dewy, but I'm telling you, it doesn't stay like a dewy finish all day. So now I'm gonna go ahead and move on over to the next foundation that we have. And I'm just gonna roll it back down and then I'll clean it after this video. And then boom, easy, small, very, very easy to carry around and use. Now the next one I'm gonna cover is the COVERGIRL Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. Now this one right here, let me pull up my phone. I wanna say it retails originally for $12.99. Yes, I have for $12.49. I have it right here. You can kind of see, I know it's kind of hard to see on my phone, but the shade range looks like it is pretty grand as well. I'm more in the ivory tones. This one was also on sale. I got it for, I want to say again, like $2 or $5. So anytime I find a foundation, I usually go to Ulta or to Rite Aid, and I love seeing like the yellow tags of like what is on sale. If it's buy one, get one free, buy one, get one 50% off. This one was, I want to say, at Ulta. I got it for like $5. You might want to go ahead and shake it because it does settle. I've used this one a couple of times already. This one right here is the one that's more of a dewy finish. It's not so much of a matte finish. I have in between skin. I have days where I'm super dry. I have days where I'm super oily. So the days that I can kind of tell where my skin looks like it's kind of peeling off, it looks kind of like dry, I go with this foundation. This one is pretty lightweight. It comes in a glass box looking glass thing compared to this one. This one's completely plastic. This one is glass for those of you who like packaging. It has the pump, which makes it easier to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the same kabuki brush, and then I'm gonna put one pump first so I can show you guys how much one pump covers. With this one, I usually have to do between 2 to 3 pumps. I forgot to mention with the Wet n Wild one, the stick foundation, there is really no scent to it. This one right here, it kind of smells like a Play-Doh at first, and then it starts to smell like a subtle flowery scent. So as it sets into your skin, you kind of pick up like a blossomy smell. It doesn't really bug me, especially for someone who has really bad allergies. It definitely doesn't make mine flare up, so I don't have to really worry about it. Oh my God, I forgot my neck. Let me just cover all of these. Excuse my wet hair. I'm trying to let it like air dry so I don't keep damaging it. But look, so now we have, this is kind of like a light coverage. I feel like you could still see underneath my skin as compared to this side. It's more blurred out. It's more of like a photo finish as it, you know, entails that it is. This one right here is a healthy elixir for COVERGIRL because it says it's a foundation with vitamins. It has sunscreen. It has SPF 20. This look like it don't have none of that. So this one is more like refreshing, I would say, for your skin. Kind of brings out a good side of it. So we're gonna do one more pumperoo. And then let's go ahead and just splatch her on in. And like so, just stippling motions. I feel like this COVERGIRL one right here is easier if you use a sponge, just because it is very, very liquidy. It is kind of hard to get rid of like those harsh lines when you're putting on the foundation. So like if you go like this, you're gonna see the swirls, which is why I'm kind of just like patting it in. I also already did my eyes because I typically do my eyes before my foundation anyways, and I don't want to come on here looking crazy. So I have a couple of videos where I just look nuts. Let's cover the lips. So now that we're done with the right side, and sometimes I like to take it to my ears. Let me just cover my ear on that side. looking directly into my camera screen on the left side, it's still more, it looks pretty shiny, but I'm telling you, once you set it, it doesn't look this shiny. This one right here doesn't look as shiny, but this one is pretty dewy over, you know, the long run of like the course of 8 hours throughout the day. This one is, gives you like a dewy, more like wet looking finish, if that makes sense. Again, on the right side, I like to use the CoverGirl one for days where my skin is super dry and I could tell needs moisture. On the left side is when I'm having more of like a normal day where I can tell my skin isn't too dry, it isn't gonna be too oily. Everybody knows their skin. Skin's pretty, you know, personal. So I feel like everybody knows how their skin is going to really act throughout the day, especially if you're gonna be in heat, if you're gonna be at work, if you're gonna be in like somewhere that's cold. You can kind of tell like, you know, how your face is gonna you can kind of tell your oils are going to protrude throughout the day. So for example, if I know I'm going to be somewhere where I'm going to be hot and I might get, you know, I sweat right here and right here, I'm probably not going to use the CoverGirl one. I'm probably going to use either the Wet n Wild one or a matte foundation, which we're going to get to in a second. For days where I know maybe I'm going to be inside and my skin is pretty dry, I go with my CoverGirl one because I know it's going to keep me looking moisturized throughout the day. If you plan on going to like the beach or anything that's outside, I do recommend this one because I feel like the Wet n Wild one might look a little cakey for like an outdoor event. But now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. This is my like absolute favorite foundation. This one right here is matte. A lot of beauty gurus use this one. This one I believe, I want to say, is only $7.99. Let's pull up the handy dandy picture that I took. Yes, $7.99. You can see the shade range for the richer tones in there. I think my camera's kind of like blurring out my screen. But yes, this one is only $7.99. Cool thing about when you go to Rite Aid, they usually have like buy one, get one half off, or buy one, get one pretty much like free. I love going to Rite Aid and stocking up on these. I am the color rich tan, warm beige, warm medium. I'm more in those tones right now. This is my absolute favorite because it literally goes on looking like a very expensive foundation. This one I would say is up there with the luxury brands because it is so good. It lasts throughout the day. Concealer set amazing on it. So let's go ahead and use it. We're gonna use it on my forehead. I know it's not that, well, actually my forehead is pretty big, so it's a lot of surface area, but it's not that much surface area as comparing this side to this side. But the only thing that sucks about it is there is no pump, so you have to kind of like eyeball it, which is fine. Just don't completely tip the thing over, else you're gonna get way too much. This is about equivalent to a one pump. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stipple it on. I think I might have put too much. I want to be careful because I just washed my hair. And I'm going to go ahead and pat it on. This one I use when I'm feeling like looking a little bit more tan because it is a little bit darker than my skin. Sometimes I like to use foundations that are either one shade darker or one shade lighter. Depends on how I want to bronze up or contour. Go ahead and choose as you please. But this one right here is absolutely amazing. Of the three that I'm showing you right now, if you have oily skin, this is the matte foundation for you. Like, don't even bother going to freaking Sephora or Ulta or even to the mall, to like Macy's, and getting, you know, an expensive foundation because you have oily skin. Not this one right here. $7.99, doesn't break the bank, doesn't break the budget, and you get a lot in this bottle right here. I'm not gonna go over like the fluid ounces because I don't really even pay attention to that. I like to eyeball it. But this is what it looks like right here. You could see my forehead. It looks shiny right now, and I want to say that's just because of my lighting, but it does dry down pretty matte. It goes down very liquidy. It almost goes down where it looks like it's going to be dewy, but trust me, it's not. It's a matte foundation. You can build it up. I'm not going to build it up on my forehead because my forehead's going to look too cakey, but you can build it up. And when you apply concealers and you set it, it's not that type of matte foundation where if you build it up, it starts to wipe away the makeup. No, it stays there completely. So out of these three foundations right here, I 100% recommend all three of them. If you're somebody like me where you have skin that varies depending on whether it wants to be oily or dry, I would say pick up all three of these. They are literally like equivalent to one luxury foundation where you probably get like half the product of these. That way you can kind of flip-flop and decide which ones you want to use, which is why I have about like 3 different mixes of foundations, because it really just depends on what I'm feeling like doing for that day and how my skin is gonna act that day. But what I'm gonna go ahead and do is off camera, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my face, apply some concealer and some bronzer, give you guys the final look, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the video, and I'll let you know if, I think you might have a kind of hint of what the verdict of this video is going to be, just because I already like all 3 of these foundations. I'm telling you to get them, but I will be right back with the final look. Okay, so here I have the final look, and as you can see, everything is set into place with powder, bronzer, and some highlight and some setting spray. I still feel like you can kind of see the difference between the 2, actually 3 different foundations. Over here looks very, very matte, doesn't look as dewy. This side does look a little bit more flat in terms of it's not like dewy and it's not too matte, and this side right here to me just looks very, very dewy, very like juicy looking. Altogether, I would recommend all 3 foundations, so I believe they are guilty of being worthy of your dollars to go spend on, especially because they are so affordable and so good in terms of performance for the price that you get. So rather than buying a very expensive luxury foundation, you can get away with these drugstore foundations that you can find for super cheap, whether it's the regular retail price or whether it's on sale. They are my go-to. I feel so weird though wearing like 3 different foundations right now. I just hope throughout the day you can't tell, because I do have a couple of things to do today, but I overall really, really love these foundations, and I hope you guys do too. And I really hope this video was very knowledgeable and very informative, so I can kind of help you guys, you know, save money with what foundations to buy, because I'm just like you. I'm the average consumer who works, who doesn't want to break the budget, who wears makeup every day, and, you know, wants to look good, but for a banging price, you know. So if I were you guys, I would go ahead and buy these foundations because I know you will love them. Go ahead and comment down below your verdict of which ones you think would be guilty of being worthy of your dollars, and I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you guys are having a good week, and I hope you guys are going to have an amazing month of July. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace.